My name is Olivia. I'm 45 years old. I married Matthew, who's 2 years younger than me, 15 years ago. We met at a social gathering. A friend mentioned that I had recently bought a house. It must have caught Matthew's attention because he pursued me ardently despite me being older. Initially, I was skeptical, but his warm smile and kind, intelligent demeanor won me over during our one-on-one date. I had never had a serious relationship before, and I quickly fell for him. To keep him interested, I tried my best to embody the ideal woman he was looking for. Fortunately, I never disliked housework. I was used to living alone, so playing the role of a homemaker wasn't too hard. A year into our relationship, he proposed and we got married. Upon his request, I switched from a full-time job to part-time. Little did I know that my efforts to captivate him would backfire in such a way. It all started one evening when I was late coming home from work. The weather turned bad suddenly, and I rushed home, regretting that I had left laundry out to dry. If this was the case, I shouldn't have hung the laundry outside to dry. I was relieved to find Matthew was already home, seemingly having gotten off work early. Apparently, it was unusually early today. It was good. Great. The rain just started. The laundry should be fine, I thought as I entered the house. I'm home. Welcome back. Wait, why does he sound so grumpy? I saw Matthew sitting on the sofa watching TV with a pile of crumpled laundry beside him. What's the deal with the laundry? Thanks for bringing it in. Don't hang laundry outside when the weather's like this. Aren't you ashamed to make your husband do chores? What? My gratitude vanished. My husband sighed loudly. Why do you think I wanted you to switch to part-time? So you can take care of the house. You're my wife. You should be doing that. What an outdated way of thinking. And it's pouring rain outside. But back then, I was head over heels for Matthew. Plus, I was the one who tried to play the role of the perfect homemaker. I swallowed my complaints and agreed. Confused, I looked at the lucky charm my friend gave me for moments like this. Slowly, my heart calmed down. Back then, that was enough for me not to resent Matthew. A year later, our adorable daughter Ava was born. Being close to my family was a godsend for support. Matthew adored Ava. But that was it. He never really helped much with housework or childcare. Yet, Ava was very attached to him because he spoiled her. Maybe being playful is enough? Fortunately, we could live off Matthew's salary. When Ava turned 3, I put her in daycare and started a part-time job. Then, I started using my own earnings to make my life a bit easier. Matthew never interfered with how I managed the house or raised our child. Whenever he complained about the house being messy or dinner being late, I reminded myself that he was just a big kid who happened to earn money to keep my sanity. Like that, we lived as a typical family of 3, more or less happily. Then, one Saturday, after Ava had gone to her extracurricular activities, Matthew's phone rang. From what I could hear, it seemed like it was his mother. He was scratching his head while listening intently. Once he hung up, I asked, "What happened?" "Well, can my mom and dad stay with us for a while?" "Sure." Matthew explained that his parents, Chloe and Brian, needed to move in temporarily because their apartment was being demolished.
They're getting old, and it's hard for them to find another place they feel safe in. Is that okay?
I get it. I really do. But having his parents live with us, although I felt uneasy, I agreed. What can you do? I could never say no in front of Matthew. A month later, Chloe and Brian arrived with a moving truck. They hauled in a ton of stuff and started exploring our house. Eventually, commenting, "It's a bit cramped." "That's because of all your stuff." I held back my thoughts and offered a polite smile. I opened the door that connects to the living room. "This room, on the first floor is for you, Chloe and Brian. Please make yourself at home until you find a new place." "It looks like it gets chilly in here." "We have a heater, so feel free to use it." Chloe started unpacking her things, obviously dissatisfied. Meanwhile, Brian opened the fridge without asking. "Hey, Brian!"
What? We're gonna be living here, right? What's wrong with opening my own fridge?
"Well, you're right, but you've barely been here before. A heads up would be nice."
I drink 3 beers a day. I'll let it slide this time, but keep it stocked from now on.
All right. I knew this would happen. In more polite terms, my in-laws have an old-fashioned way of thinking. The elderly deserve respect, and men are naturally more important than women. When Ava was born, their first words were,
"The next one should be a boy."
The tricky part is that they absolutely dote on their son Matthew, and Matthew, in turn, acts like a child around them. Fortunately, we live far from my in-laws, so until now, we've only had to endure them during summer vacations and Christmas. But it's getting harder to imagine this lasting much longer. I've tried to be optimistic, thinking it would only be a few months of hardship as we transition into a new living situation. However, that optimism was about to be shattered.
"Olivia, I've been meaning to ask, is this all we're having for dinner?"
Chloe said, wearing a displeased look on her face. "Is there a problem with that?"
"Are you sure we're getting enough nutrients with so few dishes?"
"We might not have a very large variety, but I've loaded the soup with vegetable and there's also salad. It should be nutritionally balanced." "Grandma, Mom cooks dinner after coming home from work. I think this is enough." To Ava's gentle interjection, Chloe responded curtly,
"Children who know nothing shouldn't interrupt adult conversations. I'm saying this for your benefit and Matthew's, okay?" "Fair point. You do have weekends off, so you could at least prepare something in advance."
Matthew answered, and Chloe nodded in satisfaction. "I'm so tired of running errands, like buying beer and adding more blankets because the room's cold. All because I have to cater to my in-laws' whims."
"If you get it, then focus on your studies. Don't act all high and mighty until you get into college worth boasting about."
At Chloe's icy words, Ava hurriedly finishes her meal and quickly heads upstairs to her room. Seeing Ava's reaction, I can't help but sigh at Chloe, who's always complaining about bad manners. Does she really think someone can stay calm after being spoken to like that? Besides, there are people far worse than that.
"Yeah, right there. Hit it! Hit it! Run!"
Brian is munching on chicken and cheese, drinking beer, and loudly enjoying a baseball game in front of the TV. It's irritating to see Brian so excited, spitting while talking with one knee up on the couch. Ever since the in-laws came, Brian, being the eldest male, gets the most special treatment, followed by Matthew, Chloe, and then me, Ava. Sure, There's a time and place to respect the pecking order within a family. But what about Ava's feelings when her whole life gets upended because of the whims of live-in in-laws? These in-laws don't work, don't contribute to household expenses, and don't even look for a new place. When I asked them to contribute financially, they screamed at me hysterically.
"We never asked our son for money. How dare you ask us for money?"
It doesn't make any sense. They're still spending money at the spa and shopping without a second thought. Both Ava and I are nearing our limit. Over the weekend, I waited until the in-laws were asleep and snuck in a conversation with Matthew. Listen, ever since Brian and Chloe arrived, Ava's been locking herself in her room. Plus, we're spending more on groceries and utilities. This is our home. You should talk to Chloe and Brian about being more considerate.
Huh? Oh, they said they'll move out soon. Just bear with it for a little while.
Matthew responds absent-mindedly, eyes glued to his mobile phone. Lately, he's been addicted to mobile games. Whenever he's free, he's on his phone. He's been working late and even going to work on weekends. The other weekend, he suddenly had to go on a business trip and left in a hurry. Are you even listening?
I'm listening, I'm listening.
What could be so interesting? As I lean over to take a look, Matthew abruptly stands up, hiding the screen.
What are you doing? That's private.
Sure, mobile phones are private. But should he be so startled just because I might see his game? What are you hiding?
Nothing.
If it's nothing, then show me. I'm curious about what mobile game has you so hooked.
Well, it's just that,
Matthew fumbles with his phone behind his back. And just then, a message alert rings out from his usually quiet phone. It seems he had taken it off silent mode without realizing. It's Friday night, 11 p.m. Who messages someone at this hour? It's not like we're teenagers anymore. Something seemed off. You got a message. Want to check it? I smiled calmly. Matthew glanced at his phone screen and gave a fake smile.
It's a work thing. We should head to bed. I have to work tomorrow.
On his way to the bedroom, Matthew's phone slipped out of his hand. As he quickly picked it up and skimmed the screen, the message read, Megan, looking forward to tomorrow. Love you. Panicked, I snatched his phone and confronted him. What's this about having fun at work with another woman? Who's Megan? Love you? Have you been sending her the same thing? My gut feeling was right. Matthew looked around nervously before sitting down.
I'm sorry. It was just a harmless game.
To put it bluntly, Matthew was cheating. His excuse about being addicted to mobile games was a total lie. Turns out, the other woman was a junior colleague, and his excuses about weekend shifts and business trips were all lies too. The unexpected betrayal left me dizzy. Here I was, balancing work, house chores, and childcare, doing my best to support Matthew. Fed up with his dismissive attitude, something in me snapped. You think it's okay because you're not serious.
You're so annoying.
Just then, my in-laws woke up, rubbing their sleepy eyes.
What's going on?
Perfect timing. Let's share what their darling son has done. Brian, Chloe, you need to hear this. I explained everything I just found out to my in-laws. Matthew sat there, shrinking like a child who just got scolded. I didn't care if they thought it was childish to tattle to my in-laws. They all should feel a bit of shame. Matthew and his parents. I finished my rant and took a deep breath. That's when Brian mumbled, seemingly uninterested.
Is that all?
What?
He said it was a game, right? A fling or two is just men being men. If you're gonna be angry over that, you're going to have a hard time.
I can't take this anymore. That's right. Chloe would understand me, I thought. I looked away from ear-picking Brian to Chloe and was flabbergasted. Unbelievably, Chloe was rubbing Matthew's back and consoling him.
It's terrible that she snooped through your phone and yelled at you. She used to be such a domestic and adorable woman when she first came to greet us. Now look at her. Just an irritating wife. I'd understand if you wanted to have some fun. Mom, you get me? All I wanted was a little excitement.
Matthew lifts his face, nodding in agreement. Chloe, seemingly astounded, lets out a sigh.
Please don't throw a tantrum over this. If she's getting cheated on, it's because she lacks charm, you know.
I'm at a loss for words. I can't keep up with these people who, as if nothing happened, not only go on with life, but also defend their cheating son. I thought I could hold on at least until Ava becomes an adult, but I've reached my limit. Let's get a divorce. I pulled out the pre-filled divorce application that I got when I was younger. Matthew looked at his parents as if he were a helpless puppy. His parents snorted.
Matthew, we think it's fine to break up. You're talented and handsome. You'll have plenty of chances. Besides, the girl you're dating now is young, right? Expecting a son, perhaps? Women are just too chatty anyway.
Matthew, seeing how the situation unfolds, laughs as if he just realized something.
Exactly. She used to be so adorable, but now she treats me like I'm invisible. Starting a new family could be a way to reset things.
You've got to be kidding me. It was Matthew who first started neglecting Ava. Matthew started finding it tedious to engage with Ava as she matured and lost some of her cuteness. It's absurd to think a father who only engages whimsically would be liked. Whatever affection I had left for Matthew dissipates rapidly. So you admitted to cheating. For the divorce, expect not just property division, but also a minimum of a few $1,000s in compensation. The moment I say this, Matthew's hand stops writing. Chloe grabs his hand.
Why should our son pay that much when you're the cause of the affair? In our time, that wasn't a thing. If you have to pay that, don't agree to the divorce.
Even if it's a messed up logic, it's 3 against 1 from an outsider's perspective. Matthew snickers at his own situation.
That's right. If I don't sign here, we can't get divorced. If you want a divorce, you have to respect our opinions as well.
What is he saying? Is this some kind of threat? I can't do this anymore. Everything about these people is just too much. My anger is about to explode. Fine. Instead of property and compensation, I'll just take what I bought. You can record this as a promise. Matthew and his parents visibly relax. Before I change my mind, Chloe prompts us to open the voice memo apps on our phones. I record exactly what I just said, and Matthew quickly agrees.
Here's to new beginning.
Matthew eagerly starts filling out the divorce application. Late that night, after the 3 of them went to bed, I sent Ava a message about our future plans. I sighed with relief when Ava's okay came back. Don't have any regrets now. Be prepared. Then, I hurriedly looked for a new place to live. The divorce papers are already filed. Of course, I won full custody of Ava. Today's the day Ava and I leave this house for good. I was busy making preparations for the move. My in-laws and Matthew have become more arrogant than ever. Day drinking, as usual. We need to get out of here ASAP. Ava has long lost patience with my in-laws and has already packed her stuff. I didn't have much to pack either. It figures. I'd hardly done any shopping for myself since getting married. It was almost time for the movers to arrive.
It's good we don't have much stuff. Makes the move cheaper,
Chloe said, poking at our packed boxes. Ava and I exchanged glances and couldn't help but laugh.
What are you talking about? We ordered the largest truck available. Huh?
Ignoring the stunned Chloe, I walked over to the fridge and forcefully yanked out the plug.
Hey, what are you doing?
This is mine. I bought it. I began to unload the fridge, piling up all the food and beverages. Of course, the freezer wasn't an exception. The floor got a little wet, but I couldn't care less. Chloe grabbed my arm. I'm busy. I shrugged her off and went on to unplug all the appliances, carrying out whatever I could. Microwave, electric kettle, toaster, multi-cooker, washing machine, dishwasher, robot vacuum. I smiled at the shocked Matthew. Most of my paycheck went into these appliances to lighten your load around the house. Didn't you notice? That's right. Most of the appliances here I purchased. But not just that. Mom, I got it down! Ava came down holding a ceiling light. Thanks, please get the ones downstairs next. Ava grabbed a step stool and reached for the living room light. Matthew and Brian looked puzzled, probably because they'd been drinking. Oh well, let me explain. Also the air conditioners, lights, and large furniture around the house, I bought those, remember? Matthew seemed to snap back to reality.
Please stop. Just stop.
No way. I opened the closet, packed full of Chloe and Brian's clothes. I'm only taking what's mine. Without giving them a chance to respond, I grabbed their clothes and tossed them on the floor. High-end brands or not, I couldn't care less. I emptied the closet, bookshelf, and decorative shelf one by one. Oh right, my dresser. I pulled open the drawers to find makeup that probably belonged to Chloe. Such expensive stuff going to waste. I can't be bothered to take it out one by one. So be it. Alright, here we go. Flipping over each drawer, just like that, they're empty. Phew, feels good. Chloe's face is pale as she scrambles to gather her makeup. Mom, the movers are here. Ava calls out to me loudly. Show them around. Tell them to start moving things. I hear Ava responding to the movers in an energetic voice. She's acting way more mature than the flustered adults in front of her. Sorry for the mess. Just go ahead and start moving stuff. The movers are clearly professionals. Our home empties at an incredible speed.
My.
What's left are a few pieces of furniture and a pile of abandoned food and entertainment items. Essentially, hardly anything essential to our daily life remains. Well then, see you later. After waving goodbye to the truck, Ava and I catch our breaths. I take an envelope from Ava and tell her to go to grandparents' house. Just then, a loud yell comes from behind. Startled, Ava shakes her shoulders. I urge her to go and then turn around. It's not just the alcohol. My in-laws and Matthew are red-faced and shaking with rage.
How could you do something so horrible?
I did exactly as I said I would. Now it's time for all of you to sort out your moving arrangements.
What?
All three shout in disbelief. Pathetic. Don't you remember? I own this property and this house. Matthew's face instantly turns pale.
You're not saying you sold this house too?
That's right. The house and land are already sold. Even though their fears were confirmed, far from celebrating, my in-laws looked defeated. Well, of course they do.
This can't be allowed.
Look, I bought this house. The loan payments? Also me. You had zero involvement. What makes you think you have any say in the sale? In fact, whether they lived with me or not, I had the authority to proceed with selling. I haven't violated any rules. Most of all, this house is practically vacant now. I doubt they could afford to restore the home to its original state, given their endless spending.
Don't worry. You have a lovely girlfriend, right? Why not go to live with her?
I can't help but laugh at Brian's desperate attempt. Feel free to try, but I wouldn't count on her.
What?
Shocked, eh? I wonder if that's what his expression means.
What do you mean?
After you left, I contacted Megan from your office. A horrible woman. Perfect for you. After I told her about your true nature and about Chloe and Brian, she said she never wants to see you again. At my words, the color drains from Matthew's face.
No way.
Matthew tries to make a call on his mobile phone, but the voice that comes through is mechanical, even though it's from the same woman. The number you have dialed is either out of service or switched off. Frustrated, Matthew and his parents don't know what to do next. I approach them and hand over an envelope I got from Ava. Here, this is from Ava.
What? You've got to be kidding.
Of course it's a letter from Ava. Her dad and grandparents are in a bind, aren't they? Matthew's face lights up instantly. Nobody mentioned a letter, but okay. They open the envelope and unfold the paper inside. The look on Matthew and his parents' face turns to shock.
What is this?
It's paperwork for child support. Drafted by a lawyer. It's a legally binding document.
You don't have to worry about splitting assets or paying alimony.
You get it now? I never made a decision about child support. Basically, it's the child's right to receive it. Matthew is speechless. You're Ava's dad. She said she's determined to go to a university she can brag about. You're paying for her tuition until she graduates. Matthew and his parents are utterly defeated. It's a little kindness I can offer. I put a pamphlet from a moving company in front of them and walk away. Fast forward a month. The money from the sale of the property was safely transferred to my bank account. I'm now living peacefully in my new place when messages begging for reconciliation start coming from Matthew. According to him, the affair got exposed at work because of the call I made. His mistress had to resign. Matthew was demoted and lost the reputation he had built up. Now he's living in a rundown company apartment in the middle of nowhere with his family. The home is full of discord, with Matthew and Brian who never lift a finger, and Chloe who always did as she pleased. Their place is filled with clutter and garbage, making living there nearly impossible. What goes around comes around, huh? I block him on all platforms, ensuring he can't reach me again. As for me, I'm back to full-time employment, and Ava is thriving. Our space is smaller but loaded with the latest appliances. With Ava's help, there's virtually no burden of housework. Ava is committed to both her studies and extracurricular activities. Even though I told her not to worry about what Chloe says, she insists on working hard for her future self. Matthew is seemingly living with his family. Maybe it's time for me to move back with my parents at the contract renewal. My parents adore Ava, their grandchild, and the feeling is mutual. Living together shouldn't be a problem. I also have the money from the settlement and property sale. Maybe I could renovate my parents' home to make it more comfortable for them and Ava. Opening my makeup drawer, I take out the new cosmetics Ava and I bought recently. I apply a calm-colored lipstick to my lips. Life lasts 100 years. My life is just starting. The me in the mirror looks happy. And yes, I'm going to keep being happy.